I mean, this is all part of life. You ever been in a building, this guy, they got the same last name, be like, is that a coincidence? No. You know somebody. Part of life is what you know, and getting your education is very important, but another huge part of life is, man, knowing someone who knows someone. So I don't even act as if why anyone would be concerned. LeBron, when he went from Cleveland to Miami, he took some people with him. When he went from Miami back to Cleveland, he took some more people there with him. And when the Los Angeles Lakers and Magic Johnson said, hey, LeBron James, there haven't been anyone else you might want around here besides players, I'm sure there are accommodations. So we have seen this in sports. We've seen this with coaches, front office. We talked about Jerry Colangelo. What about his son? His son was the GM of the 76ers, and people wonder, how that guy get there? Ain't nobody say nothing about that. Steve Kerr's son, where does he work now?
Yeah, nepotism is one thing.
But I think this is, I personally think that's a great point. Because we look at this, we don't tend to have an issue when nepotism flows from the management down. People tend to have an issue when it flows from the players up. It's the fruit of the same poisonous tree, if you even want to call it a poisonous tree. It's like fruit of the same tree, I should say. Like, we know that guys that are friends or have relationships with a GM or with a coach get their foot in the door early. This guy's been with Kawhi since before San Diego State. He was a walk-on at San Diego State. He's Kawhi's guy. And from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're closer to this than I am, he had reached something of a ceiling in San Antonio. There was a job he had applied for in San Antonio he didn't get. So, like,
the head video guy left in San Antonio, and they didn't interview him for the potential promotion.
So obviously for the Raptors, this is an effort to keep Kawhi Leonard. You seem skeptical. What are you skeptical of, Jenna?
I don't love it.
What do you not love?
I don't love the fact. I don't know. I don't love the fact that Kawhi Leonard has made it very clear that it's not where he wants to be. It's not where he wants to go.
And so shouldn't they do everything?
Well,
maybe my issue is also with bringing him into the coaching staff. If you want to get him a job, maybe that's different. But when you bring him onto the coaching staff, I have a little bit more.
Well, let's gather all the facts. The guy has done all the due diligence that everyone else in the NBA has done. All right? He was a college player. He was a good high school player. Was in college, graduated from college, went to the D League, earned his stripes on his way up. And I know this in talking to Kawhi's people. Kawhi didn't recommend this guy. This guy went out and got this job on his own. They had a position that was going to be Kawhi didn't say, hey, man, you guys going to hire my guy and bring me up here? No. But also, he does have a relationship also with Danny Green. They did get two players in the trade, Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green. So he does have intel and a relationship. But I do know this for 100% fact. Kawhi did not represent him. Kawhi did not present a package to Toronto. Toronto sought this guy out and decided to hire him because they thought that he was going to be an asset to the organization.
And one of the reasons he's an asset, even with Kawhi not advocating for him, is because they are trying to present their best face possible to get Kawhi Leonard to stay. But I don't know why anyone would have an issue with that. The most important person for the Toronto Raptors is Kawhi Leonard until he's no longer a Raptor. If they wanted to name Kawhi's uncle president of basketball operations, that's their prerogative. Like, the only thing that matters to the Raptors is keeping him. I think they have a very slim chance of keeping him. Just like we talked about, I'm just surprised by your opinion on this. We talked about Bruce Bowen. He gets fired by the Clippers. Why? Because they thought having him on the broadcast hurt their chances of getting Kawhi Leonard. Now, Kawhi didn't call them and say, fire Bruce Bowen, or I'm not taking a meeting. They just said, what's his value to us? How does he hurt us in our acquisition of Kawhi Leonard? I believe they did the math. It doesn't help us, might hurt us, let's get rid of him. The Raptors did the math saying, we have this position open. This guy is not incompetent. This guy can do it, and it helps us get Kawhi Leonard. Like, let me tell you right now, Chris's stepson, pardon me, I apologize, interned for us this summer. Yeah. Okay? If Chris was potentially going to leave the show in a few months, I would go to Ken and say, hire Austin. Like, create a position, figure it out. Like, that's what you do for talented people that can help your organization. I just think this is done in sports all the time. I got no problem with it whatsoever.
It's done in all businesses all the time. It's not just sports. It's done everywhere all the time. And sometimes to the detriment of the company, you would argue. But, I understand your point.
Yeah, we had an open audition for this show. All right? Nick and I were going to be on this show. All right? I saw all the names of the people in the open audition. All right? I took liberty upon myself in front of all of our bosses. I wrote one name down and put it in the left-hand corner. Right?
This is a
Nick,
true story.
Is that what not happened, Nick?
That's what happened.
One hand, I said,
in defense, I only had 2 names, Jenna, but he had the one.
yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna just tell everyone the true stories. I had 2 names. Chris said, "Well, one of your names is my only name, so this is the name we're going with."
Right.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that won out. Now, if that happened to be the favor for Cris Carter or everything, so be it. Because it's good when it works out for us.
Yes.
All right? And most of the time, things like this, they do work out for you. But this is what makes the world go round. It's not what you know, it's who you know sometimes.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.